The spring of 1921 was possibly the most turmoil period of the War of Independence. We had intensified our activities with road trenching, tree blocking, cutting telegraph wires and carrying out raids on railway stations, confiscating mail. Bridges at Maynooth, Selbridge, Straffan, Kilcock, Brereton and Allenwood were damaged to make them impassable. We had also burned out a number of recently vacated RIC stations, Carberry and Salins. Our aim was to isolate the enemy by cutting off their communications with Dublin.
County Kildare in the War of Independence from 1919 to July 1921. The problem in Kildare really was that it was a garrison county, and you had four major installations, British installations in the county, including the Curragh camp, which was the biggest base in the whole of Ireland. There could be up to 10,000 British troops in the county at any one time, and during the war period it was even higher. But you had three other main barracks then. You had an artillery barracks in Kildare, you had the cavalry barracks in Newbridge, and you had the Royal Dublin Fusiliers depot in Naas. So for the Kildare IRA to operate in the county would be suicidal really, because there's no way they would be able to take on the British Army and be successful. There were a couple of ambushes in the county. One, an attempted ambush that the Black and Tans of course didn't stop and continued on at Allen. There was a successful ambush in Maynooth when an RIC sergeant was killed, and there was two RIC men killed then in an ambush at Ghille, which was led by Tom Harris, and then mostly comprised of members of Ghille Company, IRA.
Thanks, Sergeant.
Morning. Good job, how are you today? John? Right on. Right lads, listen up, before we go out. There's been reports throughout the country in the last few days about serious upscaling in Shinner activity. Right throughout the country, including this general area, Laois, Offaly, Kildare, Meath, right in our territory, at this very moment, rebels are on the move. Only this morning I got this telegram alerting us to an incident that took place outside Middleton in County Cork yesterday, where a dozen or so Republicans were killed in an apparent ambush, attempted ambush, but we got them. So there's very much increased activity around the place, especially around this general area. The place is buzzing. Meath, Laois, Kildare, everywhere. So we need to be extra vigilant tonight. Now I know you're always vigilant men, but we need to be really, really on our game tonight. It's serious stuff, very serious stuff. The reports that are coming in from the branch are very worrying indeed. Now it doesn't mean that anything will happen in this particular area, but we have to be prepared for it. Okay? So when we go out tonight, I want you doubly on your game. Always seek for where the next cover is. Every step you take, watch for the next piece of cover. You never know when it's going to happen, lads, and if it happens, I don't want any of my men or any of the people of this general area who depend on us to keep them safe put in peril. All right? 6 again, or 4s, 6s? We're going in 4s. I'll be with the 3 of you tonight. Okay? We're a little low on numbers because we've had to put on extra patrols.
Yeah.
So I picked my 3 best guys. This is a dangerous time of night. Very, very dangerous time of night. You're the 3 best lads I have, okay? I'm dependent on you to keep the community safe. That's what we're here for. That's our sworn duty, and we're going to carry it out. We're putting ourselves in the line of fire. That's what we have to do. Sergeant, yeah. Okay, alright. Right, lads, let's get going. You're all fully loaded and ready? Yeah. Okay. Hands up. Okay.
As the sergeant hit. Ned.
Gentlemen.
Ned, what's eating you?
The big fella himself has sent word down from Dublin. He wants us to step up our activities.
Right.
He wants us to cause bloody mayhem.
No.
He wants us to disrupt travel and communication. He wants us to cut telegram lines.
Right.
He wants us to blow up railway lines. And he wants us to confiscate mail. Basically isolate the Brits.
Isolate the Brits. You know, they've got us isolated. There's 6,000 troops in the Curragh. Newbridge and Naas are garrison towns. There's RSC barracks in every village in the place. We can't take a shit without them knowing. And he wants us to isolate them.
Jesus, it's a pity Harris is still in sight. We could really do with him now.
That's for sure. Here, Ned.
Yeah?
That meeting's been arranged now for next Thursday. That's St. Patrick's Day. All the OCs will be there.
Come on, Mick, I knew you wouldn't let me down.
My granny taught me a poem when I was a little brat. How did it go? There dwelled the race of the fiend of old. The great, the proud, the strong, the bold. The pure of speech, the bright in face, the noblest house of the fiend race. Oh, who could well refrain from tears, who sees the host of 1,000 years expelled from this their native isle, and bondsmen too, tyrants and vile. Oh, stand ye now for Erin's freedom. Oh, stand ye now for Erin's cause. Long ye've groaned beneath the rigours of the invaders' savage laws.
Come on, Mick, not bad for a blacksmith.
Oh, something like that.
I'd imagine your granny said it better, though. You know, I was just thinking there. You know, about 1,200 years ago, right in this very spot here, Fionn McCool and the Nafina camped here, and a bloody battle ensued between forces of the King of Leinster and the King of Ireland. The Leinster men were outnumbered 2-1. 21,000 men against 9,000 men. But yet the 9,000 men of Fionn McCool's army succeeded. Surely there's some inspiration to be got from that.
Well, we could do with them lads here now.
Aye.
So they say Fionn McCool picked up a rock from here one of the days, and he horsed it out that way somewhere. He said, "That's a grand Clane throw." And landed in Clane, that's where it got its name from.
Jesus, Mick, you're an awful gobshite. Right, come on, there's work to be done. Oh, Lord.
Here, Ned, I want to ask you something.
Yeah?
What are you planning?
Mick, if I told you, I'd have to kill you.
But here, you just keep your head down, and we'll see you next Thursday.
I'll do my best.
How are you, Alan? Oh, Alan.
What about
How are
Alan?
things?
Are you still going out with that Christy coffee, lad?
What business of yours if I am?
I should look at you want to be getting married shortly. I'm marrying myself if you don't hurry up.
Go on, you blackguard.
Be a good prosperous man.
Alright. Any activity on the roads on the way down?
Plenty of activity, yeah.
Very
Stop.
I've stopped twice.
Hands, or I see.
Black and tans. Big activity around Robertstown.
9 a minute.
It's about 8 at the minute.
Right.
Paddy Milani's on his way down now. He's a message from the big fella. He should be here shortly.
What this is about.
Oh. There's something coming down the tracks.
You can be guaranteed of that.
Yeah.
You need to keep moving.
Well, see what he has to say when he comes. Will he be long, do you know?
He should be here fairly shortly.
We shouldn't be hanging around here for too long now, boys, all in the one cottage. It's not a good idea.
We've a scout up above to let us know if anything's coming.
Right.
Here's Paddy.
Gentlemen,
How are you, buddy?
thanks for coming at such short notice.
No bother.
I get straight to the point. The big lad said we're down from Dublin, lads. He wants us to start up in our game.
It's easier said than done, Paddy.
Where are all these guns going home, Paddy?
Ned met with the Battalion Council and they're happy with us to take the fight to the enemy.
Okay. When? Where?
3 days' time.
3 days. You think we're going to be ready in 3 days?
In 3 days' time we're going to ambush the Hill of Allen.
Ellen, show this man what all I have. Look it, that's all I have. Between 15 men and Allenwood. How are we going to beat the town?
That's not all you have.
Have you a box of them for us?
I'm working on it. You'll have plenty. You've 15 men in Allenwood. They'll all be armed. Don't worry. Prosperous likewise. Just be there. I need you to be there, lads.
Be there.
And be under no illusion. These lads are savages. Did you hear what happened in Mountjoy last week?
Young Flood.
19 years old, Frank Flood, hung. And young Ryan, 20. Huh?
Kevin before that.
Be under no illusion. Your lives are at risk.
We're well aware.
So you need to take the fight to them before they take the fight to us. Yeah?
Show no mercy. They show none to us.
This is war, boys. This is war.
Where's this happening? Has anybody any ideas?
We've been looking at there's an ideal spot at Mulhall's farm. Tie 2 horses' cart together, and as the cross-street tenders coming with our men in position, Christy Condy will get the cars out onto the middle of the road, and then we open up on them. And boys, the plan will be that we take out the whole bloody lot of them. One go at it.
The Hill of Allen is a kind of a bleak place. Where are we all going to retreat to?
There's good cover up to the right, through the firs, and back to the bogs. And the Prosperous boys can head out across Newtown Bog, Millerstown. The Allen boys up and over the hill and gone.
Safe houses need to be sorted beforehand.
We need to have safe houses, because if we're under pressure we're going to have to hide somewhere. You're not going to walk the whole way across the bog to Prosper without being caught or seen.
Another thing, these are scarce. They're going to have to be looked after. We can't lose them. We can't lose these to enemy hands.
No.
Our quartermaster will look after everything. There'll be safe houses for the guns. Bear in mind, boys, if this works, there'll be serious retaliation. Look what they did in Balbriggan and places like that. But we need to take them all out and be ready then for the backlash.
This is where your local expertise comes into play. We need you. You just know every nook and cranny in a Hill Allen. Use it to your advantage. You won't be short on weapons. They'll be there. Have you heard about the shops?
I've seen it myself, yes.
We asked for a boycott of Belfast products, lads. Huh? And they're still selling them. Public houses, shops. You're going to have to send a message.
We'll send a message.
They're not listening.
Well, we'll pay them a visit and we'll make sure they get the message loud and clear this time.
Oh man.
Well, that's it. Put it into plans though. And we get going. 3 days time, we don't have much time, lads. We need to arm these. Might have to arm my men. They have a gun or a piece of ammunition between them. We need to arm them. Every one of them we need to arm them.
You just have them there, on time. And I'll have the rest. Yeah?
Have to do. That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
We can help with moving the stuff through.
You always did.
Be careful. This is seriously dangerous. Just be careful.
Speaking of that, we can't hang around here much longer.
No.
Get out here. The place is crawling.
Yeah.
Been a lot of activity, Minute in particular, since we paid a visit.
Yeah.
Did you see anyone on the way down?
There's a couple around, yeah?
Right.
You don't know who's an informer.
No.
Who's talking to who.
This man said, keep the mouth shut. The only way forward, keep the mouth shut.
Mouth shut. Our boys are brave and they're willing, but we can't have loose talk. No loose talk. Be united on this. Our lads are brave, ready to go, but keep it quiet.
What happens in this room stays in this room. Bar what you take back to your men.
Keep it tight.
We can do this, lads.
Well, it can be done. It can be done.
And if anybody has any names of sympathisers, we'll pay them a visit as well. And they'll get the message.
We done?
Right, lads, it's time to break up now. Get ready and keep your mouth shut.
And the next guy.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Ellen, take the gun.
Beat it well.
Thanks for the tea, lads.
Right, boys.
Toss
See you
me
again. Good luck.
You happy with the planning of this?
We did a good bit of work on it. Now, the man in the tower, in the top of the tower, will be very important. We have to be sure that they'll come by Milltown and straight out over the hill. Now, they could come the other direction, and that's why the man in the tower will be very important. If they come by Pluckerstown, we'll have a man on Pluckerstown Bridge. We'll have the carts ready to go. It'll take a good bit of planning, and as they approach, the two cars come out onto the, because there's a nice little slope off Mulhall's farm there. There'll be no way around them. And if our men are under cover on both sides, we should be well able to take every one of them out, including your man with the machine gun.
Vickers, this is going to come down to timing. We can't be standing or lying out in the open all day.
Well, they generally hit Robertstown checking the pubs at around 3:30. And they're never too far off. 10 minutes one way or the other. But we'd want to be in place from early morning.
Being covered all day,
Yeah.
they come.
And they'll have whatever length it's to take. And be discreet. My God, don't open your mouth about this to anyone. Jesus.
You don't know who you're talking to.
No.
You don't know who's talking to who.
You couldn't trust your own brother. So we keep it quiet and keep it tight.
Keep it tight.
Oh jeez, look at the cat dragged in.
Gentlemen.
All right,
Man
Ned.
yourself.
Yeah, come on, Ned.
So Ned, what have you dragged us here for?
Jesus, will you give a man a chance to warm himself up? It's freezing bulldogs out there. Right. We have a plan. And we're going to attack them bloody tans real hard.
Well, so tell us more.
Well, we've been doing some reconnaissance. And we've noticed that every Sunday afternoon, them bloody tans drive down here to enforce the Sunday closing act.
Yeah.
Now, coming from Kildare town, they have to drive across the hill of Allen. So, next Sunday, we're going to have a little surprise waiting for them.
Yeah, good.
Now, that's all I'll say about it for the moment. But what I do want to know is, do we have your support? Jesus lads, come on, I haven't got all day. Mick Fitz, well, come on.
Yeah, you know us. Should we know the place like the back of our hands? We'll be there.
And what do the lads from Robertstown and Allen have to say for themselves?
You know us, Ned. We're not going to let you down.
You know us, Allenwood lads, we're only waiting a chance to teach these bastards a thing or two.
Right, let's get to work, so. Now, I'll round up the lads from Prosperous on Sunday morning, and we'll travel through Millerstown Bog, and we'll meet you guys at Mulhall's farm. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Now don't go fucking this up, or there will be hell to pay. Now, I'm for a small one, and Mick Fitz is paying.
Come on, Mick.
Typical Prosperous man, true and true. There's names to buy some Kevin. The lads around here. Hold it up there. Well?
Well boys, I didn't think you were going to arrive.
I see you've got the getaway vehicle sorted anyway.
Aye. The Red Cronley said she's very economical. She'll go places where the Crossley tender can't go. So what more do you want?
I'll tell you what we want. Arms. What are we going to do? Throw sods of turf at the tans?
Oh, ye of little faith.
Oh, nice one, Ned. Well done. Right, lads. Shotgun.
Our battalion council in Kildare arranged for a number of engagements to be carried out. One of those engagements was an ambush at the Hill of Allen, to be carried out by the Prosperous, Allen, Robertstown and Allenwood Companies on Sunday the 20th of March 1921.
Right, lads, this is serious stuff now. All the ammunition, you've plenty of it, but it's all counted for. So make every shot count. Shoot to kill. Don't give these lads a chance. The tans won't give you a chance. Okay, this is for real. Get in, shoot, drop them. And let's all get out together. I want every man getting out there unharmed, unscathed. Okay, that's your job. We're getting out there alive, we're hitting hard and getting out. Right, lads, let's fall in again. Come on. On your toes. Shoulder your arms, left shoulder. Forward, march. Right. Sit.
Having surveyed the location, the OCs were satisfied that it offered what was needed for the attack. All the available members of those companies were mobilised. I estimated the total number to be about 55. Most were armed with either a Lee Enfield rifle or a shotgun. Richard Harris, Battalion Vice Commandant, was put in charge, and myself, Edward Tracey, OC of the Prosperous Company, and Michael Fitzgerald, OC of the Allen Company, were second in command. At 11 AM on the morning of the attack, the Prosperous Company met at Newtown Dunor, and we travelled about 4 miles over the Bog of Allen to the ambush site at Mulhall's farm. We had 7 Lee Enfields, 12 shotguns and about a dozen hand grenades.
according to my father, the arrangements were for one man to be left at Pluckerstown Bridge, and if the Tans happened to come by William around the back way, that he'd be able to give a signal to a man on the tower, and the man on the tower could look down at Mulhall's then and give a signal down there, and they'd be ready for them then when they'd come, you see. But as it worked out, they did come from Kildare out to Milltown. We left and went up through William and back around, and when they got round, the man on the bridge was gone. I think he got afraid. He was gone anyway, and there was no signal sent to the tower. So the Tans came on around, of course, and down to the Cross of Allen, and they wheeled up then, and I think they probably knew there was something gone wrong somewhere, so they come on up anyway, and they had everything set up, but of course they weren't expecting them for ages, and the next thing they appeared, and of course there was panic. And the lads that were, Christy Conley, that is, down from Kilmay, he was in charge of the 2 carts in the yard. And he just ran, left them there. And the rest of them ran up the hill then. They were down further, they saw the predicament, and they went on up the hill, head for the tower. And the other crowd went across Barnestown. And the next thing, the lorry appeared anyway, and the boys drove by where the 2 cars were. Then they saw the 3 across the road, and as soon as they saw, the whole lot of them stuck up their hands in surrender, and there was no one there to throw a grenade in at top of them and do away with the whole lot of them. So they brought the guns with them anyway and carried them across, and they put them in to an old house over in Kerry, with the name of, it was Dugan's house at that time. And they put them up on the loft there and disappeared, of course, then themselves, and they hide for some time.
Well, lads.
Christy.
It's 5 o'clock.
Yeah, there's something wrong.
What's going on?
Every Sunday they're here, the Tans go by here at 3 o'clock on the dot.
These lads are getting very anxious.
I reckon someone's been running them out. There's something wrong, I smell a rat.
Well, we won't make the same mistake next time.
What are you on about next time?
They're on about attacking a train somewhere in Kildare.
Oh, bollocks. Well, it's too late today, I'd say we pulled the plug.
Yeah, lads, that's it, come on, we're calling it off.
Right lads, let's move out.
Let's go, come on.
By now the residents of Kilmeague village had started to suspect that something was occurring, so we decided to abandon the attack. The lookout on the tower and the Pluckerstown Bridge were dismissed. The Prosperous Company then started to move off, leaving the Allen Company to remove the tree from the road. We had crossed several fields and were about 500 yards from the road when we heard the noise of the enemy lorry approaching.
Right lads, hold up, listen, stop, everybody! Hoist the stem, take cover, get down, get your heads down as quick as you can, lads! Lads, get your heads down quick, you've seen us. Hold your fire now, lads, you have to stop. Hold it. Right here, stop, lads.
The volunteers who had remained at the site fled up the hill towards the tower. The order was given to the Prosperous Company to take cover and open fire. The Tans jumped off the lorry and returned fire while the driver manoeuvred the lorry.
Let them have it!
Cease fire, come on!
Let's get out of here. Lads, make sure all the rounds are gone out of your pockets in case they get lifted later.
We fired about 100 rounds from our rifles. The men with shotguns also fired, although they would have been useless at that distance. There were no casualties on our side, and it was not known if there was any casualties of the enemy. A matter of about 20 minutes saved the Black and Tans from destruction. The military and the Black and Tans were very active in the area after the ambush, and a number of our men were arrested. Michael Fitzgerald, OC of the Allen Company, was arrested on the 14th of April 1921. Richard Harris, our Vice Commandant, was arrested on the 28th of June. Each time an officer in command was arrested, another took his place. This did not discourage us, as we set about planning a major strike on a train carrying enemy troops through Kildare.
Mrs. Dunn, we're here to see Philip. Is he around?
What do you want with him this time? He's done nothing wrong.
Just want to have a chat.
Look, I know who you are. And I want no trouble around here, do you hear me?
Well. Look who it is. Hey, tell me this, lads. Since when were the IRA doing someone else's dirty work for them?
Heard you like to talk. You been telling tales to the RIC?
No, that's not right. Sure, you wouldn't be telling them anything. Tell them they're wrong, Philip. Tell them they're wrong.
Don't try and pin the blame on me for that mess in the Hill a few weeks ago. Your own men were in the pubs talking about what they were going to do to the Tans and Free Ireland. The whole parish knew which is what planning.
Look, my husband is dead. And I depend on Philip to run the farm. Please, don't hurt him.
Mom, what's going on?
Go back in the house, Bridget. Just do as you're told.
So you got your roof in the cottage. Where'd you get the money for that? RIC paying well for information these days.
Get the bloody head off my property right now, or I fucking
Calm down, will you? I'm scared. Don't do anything to provoke them, please.
Right. I'm after giving you enough fucking warning.
Philip, please! Please, get the Philip! Mear!
We learned of an incident in which a young man was fatally injured in a shooting near Allen Cross. I do not believe that this action was sanctioned by our battalion council. The Stacumny ambush was planned for on Saturday, 2nd of July 1921. This was a large operation involving companies from Meath, Fingal and Kildare. 20 volunteers from the Prosperous area were handpicked to take part. Mick Collins sent details of a train coming from Belfast carrying 700 troops back to the Curragh camp, and he wanted it attacked in Kildare, just over the Dublin border, roughly halfway between Dublin and the Curragh camp. Paddy Mullaney from Leixlip was commandant in charge of the local North Kildare battalion, while Sean Boylan from Meath was appointed overall command of the operation. Mick Collins also sent down 2 men with Thompson machine guns. Each gun was capable of holding 100 rounds, and by God were we pleased to see them. Everyone was busy on the day preparing the mines and taking up positions. We had failed to anticipate that the British would send out a scouting truck ahead of the train. One of our men spotted the truck, but it was far too late for us to make a break for it. We engaged the enemy in a firefight, and the situation looked quite hopeless until the Thompson machine gun men opened fire. The rapid fire confused the enemy and they all took to cover. Had it not been for the Thompson machine gun men on that day, I'm afraid not all of us would have made it to safety.
Let's get the heads down! Move!
problem with the Stacumny ambush and its failure was that a troop train had already been derailed a couple of weeks beforehand. So the British were aware of how these things were operating, and they were operating scouting patrols before trains would arrive, and then an aircraft flying above as well. So around 100 men were mobilised to ambush this train, and mines are being planted on the rail itself. There was a Thompson submachine gunner there as well, brought down especially from Dublin, and the Thompson has only arrived in Ireland in May of 1921. Had only been used in one successful ambush, again on a troop train in Dublin. So this was a huge operation. If it had taken place the way it was meant to be, it would have been probably one of the biggest ambushes in the country, just coming up to the period of the truce. And at this stage there was peace feelers out, there were negotiations behind the scenes about a truce, and it was about the IRA operating from a position of strength. If they were able to derail a train, kill as many British troops as possible just prior to the negotiating of the truce, it would have given them a bit more leverage then in negotiations, which would of course and did lead to the treaty.
What train did you? Were you waiting on?
It's a long way down, and we'll accept any lift.
Lads, we need to talk about this treaty.
We do indeed.
You may ask, who would have thought that this little nation would eventually bring one of the most powerful empires in the world to its knees? We did. Because we never gave up hope. The men and women in villages, towns and cities across this small island who made great sacrifices, often losing loved ones. Through their determination and convictions, we knew it was possible. God save Ireland.